The Perfectionist. Written and read by Mary Teresa. Copyright 2016. Nothing touched him. What he touched, he rendered mangled, unrecognizable as its former self. He was meticulous in his dismemberment. He'd grown up in the city, and hence was familiar with it. It was a smallish city, and served as a hub for a small and localized rural and retired community. It was the port closest to the mainland. During tourist season, the city's population tripled or so. In the off-season, the city was an old woman dreaming of being homecoming queen. Jobs disappeared. People growing up there saw wealth only if forcibly taken. He did not like this disparity of wealth. Girls he wanted to date refused him because he was a local boy and because he had none of their riches. At least, that's what he told himself. He felt he needed an excuse if ever he should be captured. Sometimes, as he drove the 20 minutes to the city, he muttered his confession aloud, practicing it, committing it to memory. He never carried a gun for this reason. He did not plan a death by cop. In olden times, his bloodlust might have been satisfied by the hunt or the slaughter of farm animals. He lacked compassion, and this seemed to him a requisite for killing. He killed for pleasure, and tried new techniques and tactics, not simply to hone his already impressive skills, but he thought it kept the cops confused. He never stayed in the same hotel, nor rented from the same car agency. Sometimes his only purpose was to scout out his next victim. Sometimes his purpose was to execute his meticulous plan. It was with some surprise, then, when the hotel clerk greeted him by name. It was not the name he was using that trip. He never noticed the details of people's faces. He knew not where she knew him from. He was quite certain he'd never been to this hotel before. It had only opened a month earlier. He stumbled over his words as he said he forgot his wallet in the car. It wouldn't do at all to give the young woman the identification he carried with him today. It didn't occur to him to simply correct her, to say calmly, "You must be mistaken." His face was forgettable. He'd been told years earlier by one of the summer girls. He'd counted on that ever since. He didn't know the nothingness in his eyes was memorable, even if the face wasn't entirely so. He sat in the rental car, furious, for she had foiled his plans. His bloodlust was feverish now. The trip home to check records of where he last stayed, using this day's name, took too long. The gossips back home would notice this coming and going. He racked his memory instead. So busy was he in racking his memory, he failed to notice two actions: the woman's expression of sudden recognition, and her hand jotting down pertinent facts of the vehicle he was driving. She had already dialed 999 and relayed the information promptly and accurately as he left the hotel's parking lot. Police sirens could be heard in the distance before she even finished the call. Just the month before, a police detective had shown her a sketch of a face with eyes of nothingness. The artist had captured this quite well, though it was less due to skill and more one of serendipity. No eyewitness had been able to give the details the artist needed to put character into the strange eyes. The detective showed her the picture because eyewitnesses were in agreement about the decal of the car rental agency, conveniently located in a most visible way. She worked at that agency last month and likely rented him the car. She remembered neither the transaction nor the man. The picture had been of no use to her. The idea disturbed her enough that she gave notice and began work at the new hotel. She might have forgotten both picture and police detective if only the man hadn't had a temper tantrum in his rental car, rented from the very company she'd quit just a month ago, and in clear view of the hotel's office. It was a smallish city. The man, by his own reckoning, had made his first mistake. He realized how wrong he was about the number of his mistakes as soon as 3 squad cars hemmed in his rental car and forced him to stop. 6 officers emerged with pistols drawn, cocked, and aimed to kill. It seemed to him they must suspect him of something more than a traffic violation. He made a stupid move, even an imperfect one. He reached for his gun, said the one, and the others all nodded their agreement.